Let me take you into his mind for a second. Imagine a man who can have everything: looks, charm, attention from women wherever he goes. And yet, out of all those options, one woman keeps him awake at night. He can't stop thinking about her. He replays her words, the way she smiled, the way she left without giving too much. His body craves her, but his heart and mind, they're even more restless. That is not an accident. That is what happens when a woman knows how to take the most powerful energy a man has, his sexual energy, and turn it into an obsession that goes far beyond the physical. Because the truth is, sex alone doesn't keep him, attraction alone doesn't keep him, but when you channel that raw desire into something deeper, he doesn't just want you, he needs you. Most people believe that the fastest way to keep a man hooked is to give him what he wants physically. But here's the truth: sex on its own doesn't create obsession. It creates satisfaction, it creates release, and sometimes it even creates distance. Because once the fire is put out, once that momentary hunger is satisfied, he may not feel the need to stay. That's why so many women wake up confused after giving everything to a man and wondering why he suddenly pulled away. It's because physical intimacy alone doesn't anchor him. What anchors him is when his desire for your body gets tied to how he feels about you as a person. If he walks away from an encounter not just feeling physically satisfied, but emotionally pulled in, mentally curious, and spiritually lit up, then suddenly his attraction to you goes beyond lust. He doesn't just think, "I want her tonight." He thinks, "I want her in my life." That's the difference. When you understand that his sexual energy is only the spark, and you direct that spark into something that lights up his emotions, that's when obsession begins. When a man desires you, that energy is raw, it's powerful, but left on its own, it burns out quickly. The key is learning how to redirect that desire so it doesn't just live in his body, it lives in his heart and his mind. You do that by making every interaction with you layered. Instead of letting him think of intimacy as the only reward, you show him that the real high is how he feels when he's around you. You laugh together, you create moments that make him forget the world, you challenge him in ways that keep him on his toes. Suddenly, his attraction is no longer just about release. It's about the experience of being with you. His sexual energy then fuels his emotional investment, because every time he feels that pull toward you, he also remembers the joy, the depth, the fun, and the connection you bring. That's when he starts craving not just your body, but your presence, because the desire he feels has been rewired into something far more addictive. The mistake so many people make is thinking that giving more faster will make someone stay. But obsession isn't born out of instant gratification. It's born out of curiosity. Mystery is the oxygen of desire. When a man doesn't know everything, when he can't predict your every move, when you leave space for his imagination to fill in the blanks, that's when his mind starts racing. He'll find himself wondering what you're doing, who you're thinking about, what excites you, what you haven't yet revealed. That wondering is powerful, because imagination always magnifies reality. If you hand everything over too quickly, his imagination has nothing left to chase. But when you give him pieces, when you reveal yourself in layers, he invests more and more energy trying to uncover the next part of you. That's how his sexual desire shifts from a momentary craving into an endless pursuit, because you become the puzzle he can't stop trying to solve. Seduction on its own might grab his attention, but seduction mixed with inspiration is what makes him stay. When he feels that being around you doesn't just excite him physically but elevates him emotionally, that's when you become unforgettable. You're not just the person who makes his pulse race. You're the person who makes him want to be better, who makes him dream bigger, who makes him feel alive in ways he hasn't in years. Imagine the difference between a woman who only feeds his body and a woman who feeds both his body and his soul. One gives him a fleeting thrill, the other becomes a source of energy he can't live without. When he associates his desire for you with growth, with passion, with inspiration, you stop being a temporary escape and start becoming a permanent obsession. He begins to crave not just what you look like in his arms, but who he feels he is when you're by his side. A man might be driven first by desire, but what makes that desire last is when it anchors into something deeper than his body. This is where you become the emotional amplifier. When he's around you, he doesn't just feel attraction. He feels understood, he feels admired, he feels seen in ways no one else has ever managed to make him feel. You take the raw intensity of his sexual drive and attach it to the emotions he secretly craves but rarely admits: love, respect, validation, safety. Suddenly, every time he thinks about you, it's not just about passion, it's about comfort, connection, and the feeling that he's finally home. And when his desire is tied to that kind of emotional fulfillment, walking away from you doesn't just mean losing intimacy, it means losing the rare person who amplifies every part of who he is. That's the point where his energy transforms into something he can't quit, because leaving you would feel like leaving the best version of himself. There's a reason why things that come too easily are rarely treasured. When a man feels like he's reached the finish line before the race has even begun, his drive evaporates. And this is why controlling the pace is one of the most powerful ways to channel his sexual energy into obsession. Because obsession isn't born from instant gratification, it's born from anticipation, from the delicious tension of wanting more and not having it all at once. Think about it. The movies that keep you glued to the screen don't reveal everything in the first 5 minutes. They build the tension. They let you lean forward, guessing second, guessing, craving the next scene. They make you wait, and in the waiting, your investment grows. The same is true with desire. If you give everything too soon, it can be exciting in the moment, but it collapses quickly. But when you pace it, when you allow the energy to build like a slow burn, you create a craving that doesn't go away. Now, pacing doesn't mean playing games. It doesn't mean withholding affection or being cold. It's not about manipulation. It's about alignment. It's about making sure that intimacy, whether physical or emotional, unfolds at a speed that allows both of you to truly feel the gravity of each step. Because when a man feels he has to invest, when he senses that each stage of closeness with you is earned and meaningful, he begins to value not just the destination, but the journey. Imagine this: he's attracted to you, his body wants you, his mind is racing with scenarios, but instead of rushing to fulfill that desire, you slow him down. You give him space to show who he is beyond the charm and the chemistry. You let his actions reveal his intentions. And as he pursues, as he waits, as he earns, something powerful happens. His desire for you deepens because it's not just fueled by lust. It's fueled by the effort, the anticipation, the respect he's building for you along the way. It's the difference between a firecracker and a slow, burning flame. A firecracker is loud, bright, and exciting for a moment, but then it's gone. A slow, burning flame, on the other hand, is steady, lasting, and impossible to ignore. When you control the pace, you create that flame. You teach him that this connection isn't about a quick thrill. It's about something worth savoring, something that unfolds like a story he doesn't want to put down. And here's the part most people miss. Men don't fall in love because they get everything they want instantly. They fall in love because the process of earning you makes them invested in you. The more he invests, the more he values. When you set the pace, you force him to step up, to put in the effort, to show you consistency. You turn his sexual energy into momentum, into pursuit, into devotion. Instead of it burning out after a single night, it grows stronger with each moment he spends trying to win your heart. This is why anticipation is so intoxicating. Anticipation stretches his desire, it multiplies it. It transforms it from a fleeting impulse into an ongoing hunger. Every time you slow things down, you create more space for his imagination. He'll replay your conversations in his head. He'll remember the way you looked at him, the way your hand brushed against his, the way you smiled before saying good night. That space keeps him hooked, because the mind craves what it doesn't fully have. And let me tell you, when you finally do give him more of yourself, when you allow that next level of closeness, it doesn't just feel good, it feels monumental. It feels earned. It feels like something he worked for, something that matters. That's what makes him obsessed. Not just the intimacy itself, but the meaning you attach to it by making him wait, by making him rise to the occasion, by not rushing the journey. Controlling the pace also protects you, because when you slow things down, you create space to truly see him, to see if his words match his actions, to see if his pursuit is consistent, or if he's only there for the thrill of the chase, to see if his desire for you has depth, or if it's shallow and temporary. By pacing the connection, you filter out the men who only want the immediate, and you reveal the ones who are willing to stay for the long run. Here's the beauty of it. When you master pacing, you don't lose attraction. You heighten it. Think about the last time you really wanted something and couldn't get it right away. Every second of waiting made it more valuable, more desirable, more important to you. The same psychology works here. The longer he has to channel his energy into waiting, investing, and imagining, the stronger his obsession becomes. It's like music. Imagine if every song started with the chorus, no build-up, no verse, no suspense, just the big moment right away. It would lose its impact. But when a song builds, when it takes you through the journey of verses, pre-chorus, and then finally explodes into the chorus, it hits harder. You feel it more deeply because of the tension that came before it. Relationships are no different. Pacing is what makes the chorus unforgettable. And here's the part that will change everything for you. Men respect what they have to wait for. They don't just respect it, they protect it. When you set the pace, you set the standard. You show him that your value isn't in how quickly you give, but in how powerfully you connect. And once he experiences that depth, he'll associate his desire for you with more than just physical attraction. He'll connect it with effort, with emotion, with meaning. That's how sexual energy transforms into obsession. So, when he pushes, when he tries to rush, when he leans into the urgency of the moment, remember this: you're not taking something away by slowing down, you're giving him something far greater. You're giving him the chance to build anticipation. You're giving him the chance to prove himself. You're giving him the chance to feel that what he has with you is not ordinary, not replaceable, not something he can get from anyone else. When you master pacing, you make him addicted to the journey, not just the destination. You make him crave not only your body, but your time, your energy, your presence. You make him invest, and every step of that investment ties him closer and closer to you. And once he's hooked on the journey, the destination becomes the most meaningful reward of his life. That's the real power of controlling the pace. It's not about denying desire, it's about multiplying it. It's about stretching his hunger, until it turns into devotion. It's about teaching him that you are not just a fleeting thrill, but the story he never wants to end. When everything is handed to a man without him having to lift a finger, he might enjoy it in the moment, but he doesn't treasure it. People don't value what comes easily. They value what they earn, and this is where so many women get it wrong. They think that giving more of themselves, more time, more energy, more access will make him stay. But what actually makes him stay is when he feels like he's investing in you, when he feels like he has to step up, when he knows that your attention isn't free, it's meaningful. Imagine this. He texts you at midnight asking if you're awake. Now, part of you wants to respond instantly because you don't want him to lose interest. But the truth is, when you respond right away, you teach him that your time is available at his convenience. You become easy access, but when you set boundaries, when you don't always respond to his low-est effort attempts, you're not pushing him away. You're raising the bar. You're silently saying, if you want my attention, come to me like a man who values it. And here's the beautiful thing. Men rise to the standard you set. If you give him everything for nothing, he'll take it for granted. But if you make him earn your time, your affection, your intimacy, he'll treasure it like gold. He'll think twice before risking it because he knows it didn't come easily. That effort becomes part of the obsession. Every date he planned, every call he made, every moment he put thought into to win you, it all ties him emotionally to you. It's like climbing a mountain. The view at the top is breathtaking, but part of what makes it so unforgettable is the climb it took to get there. The sweat, the struggle, the effort, it all makes the summit feel 10 times more rewarding. Relationships are the same. If you give him the summit without the climb, he'll enjoy the view, but it won't hold the same meaning. But if he had to climb for it, if he had to show up consistently, if he had to prove his intentions, then the moment he reaches the top, he'll never want to let it go. And this isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to earn. Those are two very different things. Playing hard to get is pretending you're busy when you're not, acting uninterested when you really are, or withholding affection just to keep him guessing. That's a game. Being hard to earn is different. It's about genuinely valuing yourself, genuinely protecting your energy, and only giving your time and heart to someone who shows they deserve it. It's about sending the message that your love is a privilege, not a given. Men are wired for pursuit. They thrive when they feel like they're working towards something valuable. If you remove that pursuit, if you hand him everything on a silver platter, you rob him of the very thing that creates investment. But when you make him put in the effort, when you give him the opportunity to step into his role as the pursuer, he feels alive. He feels masculine, he feels committed, and most importantly, he feels that you are worth fighting for. So let him plan, let him call, let him show you with his actions. Don't always be the one initiating. Don't always be the one giving more. Give him the chance to step up. Give him the chance to work for you. Because every ounce of energy he pours into you becomes another thread in the web of obsession. It's not just that he wants you, it's that he's invested in you. And people rarely walk away from something they've worked hard to build. The more you allow him to work for your attention, the more he values it. The more he values it, the more he protects it. And the more he protects it, the more he ties his identity, his pride, and his emotions to keeping you close. That's not just attraction. That's obsession. Desire on its own is fleeting unless it gets tied to something more than just the physical. The real power comes when he doesn't just crave your body. He craves you. Your presence, your voice, the way you carry yourself, the way you light up a room without even trying. That's what makes him obsessed long after the physical moment has passed. Because here's the truth. A man can find physical attraction in 1,000 places, but he can only find you in one. Think about how he feels when he's sitting across from you, when you're telling a story and your eyes light up, when you tilt your head and laugh at something unexpected, when your energy fills space so completely that he forgets everything else around him. That's the kind of presence that lingers. Long after he's gone home, long after the conversation has ended, he's still thinking about you. He's replaying the way you looked at him, the way you touched his arm at just the right moment, the way you leaned in like he was the only man in the world. Those little details become anchors in his mind, tying his desire not just to what you look like, but to who you are in every moment. This is why presence matters more than perfection. You don't need to have the perfect body, the perfect face, or the perfect life to make a man obsessed. You need to embody an energy that he can't get enough of. That energy comes from confidence, from ease, from the ability to enjoy yourself and let him enjoy being around you. When you walk into a room owning your space, when you sit with him fully engaged instead of distracted, when you make him feel like he's the only man you're focused on in that moment, his sexual attraction gets rewired into something much stronger. He doesn't just want you in passing. He wants to orbit around you, to keep feeling that presence over and over again. Men don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with the way someone makes them feel. If he leaves every interaction with you feeling energized, admired, excited, seen, he will crave that feeling the same way he craves air. And soon he won't just be chasing physical intimacy, he'll be chasing the magnetic pull of your presence. That's how you transform fleeting desire into lasting obsession, by making sure his attraction gets tied to the essence of who you are, not just the surface of what you give. A man's sexual drive is one of the strongest forces inside him, but here's what most people don't realize. That same energy can either stay trapped in the physical, or it can be elevated into something much bigger, his purpose. When you learn to connect his passion for you with his deepest goals and ambitions, you don't just become the woman he desires. You become the woman who fuels his drive to succeed. And that is obsession at its highest level, because it's no longer just about craving you in the moment. It's about needing you as part of the very engine that pushes him forward in life. Think about it. Every man has dreams. Some admit them openly, some hide them, but they're there. Maybe he wants to grow his career. Maybe he wants to create something meaningful. Maybe he wants to become the kind of man he can be proud of. When he's with you, and he feels that your energy doesn't just ignite his body, but also inspires him to reach those dreams, you suddenly become more than a partner. You become his muse. You're not just the woman he wants to hold at night. You're the woman whose voice rings in his head when he's pushing through challenges during the day. This is why it's so powerful when you encourage his ambitions instead of just basking in his attention. When you notice his efforts, when you celebrate his progress, when you make him feel that you see the man he's becoming and not just the man he is right now, you're linking his desire for you to the best version of himself. He starts to associate the fire he feels in your presence with the fire he needs to pursue his goals. And that creates a bond far stronger than lust. Because here's the truth. Any man can find sexual release. But very few men find someone who makes them feel unstoppable, who makes them believe in themselves more, who makes them want to rise higher. When you tie his passion for you into that part of him, you become irreplaceable. Leaving you wouldn't just mean losing intimacy. It would mean losing the woman who wakes up his soul, the woman who pushes him toward greatness, the woman who makes his dreams feel more achievable. And here's the part that will make him obsessed without even realizing it. When he starts hitting those goals, when he starts feeling stronger, more confident, more capable, his brain will trace that back to you. He'll remember that it was your presence, your encouragement, your influence that lit that spark. And once that connection is made, you're not just a woman he desires. You're the source of his drive, the heartbeat behind his purpose. That's not something he'll ever want to let go of. The mistake so many people make is thinking that the only way to keep a man hooked is through physical intimacy. But obsession doesn't last if it lives only in the bedroom. What truly makes him addicted to you is when you're unforgettable outside of it. When your energy, your essence, and the way you make him feel linger long after you've left the room, that's when you own a space in his mind he can't replace. Imagine this: he goes about his day surrounded by people, distractions, responsibilities, and yet, in the middle of all of it, something reminds him of you. Maybe it's a phrase you said, maybe it's a song you love, maybe it's the way you teased him about something small. Suddenly, you're in his head again. That's the kind of obsession that lasts not because of what you did in one heated moment, but because of the mark you leave in every ordinary one. It's the way you carry yourself with quiet confidence, the way you can make him laugh without even trying, the way you notice little details about him that no one else pays attention to. Those things stick. They weave into his daily life until you're not just someone he desires, you're someone he thinks about constantly, without effort. You become a part of his internal world, a presence he can't escape, even when you're not physically there. And here's the real secret. When you show him sides of yourself that are magnetic outside of intimacy, your passions, your intelligence, your kindness, your wit, you give him layers to crave. You stop being a flat image of desire and become a living, breathing universe he wants to keep exploring. He'll realize that even if he could find attraction elsewhere, he could never find you elsewhere. And that realization creates loyalty. It creates devotion. It creates the kind of obsession that isn't about possession, but about never wanting to let go of the one person who makes life feel richer. When you're unforgettable outside the bedroom, you don't just satisfy him. You haunt him in the most intoxicating way. He doesn't just replay a kiss or a touch. He replays conversations, moments, the way you made him feel seen and alive. And that's when he understands his connection to you isn't temporary. It's embedded in him. It's not just desire anymore. It's attachment. It's obsession.